Hey guys, it's TheRykerDane. In this video, I'm going to show you how to do a little John Deere deck maintenance. This is a John Deere 185 Hydro. All decks will be very similar in what you need to do to take care of your deck. I'm going to show you how to change pulleys, sharpen your blades, and replace your deck belt. This will ensure that your mower is running efficiently and your lawn is being cut perfectly. Okay, so the first thing we need to do for this deck maintenance is take off this top cover right here, and there's going to be a couple bolts. There's about 4 or 5 bolts on here with a little nut on top. So there's one right here, one's a bolt, one's a nut, and then the same thing on the other side as well. You want to take one nut and maybe a couple bolts out, just depending on what model you have. Okay, so the next thing to do is to take these cotter pins out from the deck supports that drop down from the mower itself. You want to pull off these cotter pins. There's one right here, one on the bottom, and then there's 2 more on the other side, one on the bottom and one more up top. And you'll also want to remove the front of the deck. There'll probably be a pull rod kind of like this, and that will release those arms that hold the front of the deck, and this way you'll be able to pull the whole deck out from underneath the mower. At this point, you probably think the deck is released, but there's one more thing, and that is the belt that comes from the drive shaft of the mower itself to the drive shaft of the deck. You need to take that off. And then once you get that done, you can jack up the mower to make it a little bit easier and then slide the deck out. Okay, so here's the pulley that turns your blades. There's one right here in the middle. There's one on the left side, and these spin pretty good still, so they don't need to be replaced. They're a sealed bearing. And there's one on the right side. And then the pulleys I'm going to replace are the ones right here in the middle. These are the original pulleys, so they have a little bit of rust and corrosion, so they're going to need a hammer to be able to wrench them off. And as you're going to do this, you're going to need a wrench, an open-ended wrench on the bottom side of the deck, because this bolt will probably start spinning for you. So a socket wrench on top and an open-end wrench on the bottom. And this is what the pulley will look like once you take it off. There's going to be a small plastic sleeve on the bottom, as well as one inside the pulley itself, which you'll need to keep for when you get a new pulley to replace it. You'll need to use those same parts. Now we need to release this tension spring for this arm, that is the tension pulley on the belt when your belt is on there. And then you just take this cotter pin out right here, and then we'll remove this pulley from this tensioner arm. This drive shaft double pulley spins pretty good still, plus they're really expensive to replace because you gotta have the pulleys pressed on to the bearing itself. But I'm just going to take this pulley off, and then I'm going to grease the post that it sits on. So the next thing to do is to take the blades off so we can sharpen the blades, and you may need a piece of wood so that the blade has something to push against while you try to take the bolt out of the center. Now if you happen to have a bench grinder, this will be the easiest way to sharpen your blades, otherwise a hand grinder will work too. Now just reinstall those new sharpened blades. Again, use that piece of wood. Now here are the old pulleys that I'm going to replace, and they make a lot of noise when they spin, and they're a little bit loose in the bearing. This center one I'm not going to replace because it's kind of expensive, and it spins pretty good still. And here are the new pulleys from John Deere, and here's the part number in case you want to look it up online, but these pulleys are about 18 to 20 bucks. Now let's just reinstall them back where they went, but remember to use those same plastic sleeves that were from the old ones. And here is a John Deere belt that I got for this particular deck, and here's the product number in case you want to look that up online. They're about 40 bucks when you get this deck belt, but I'm just going to say, I'm not trying to plug John Deere or anything. This belt is way better than an off-brand or an aftermarket brand belt that you'll find at a local hardware store or wherever else. This is going to last a lot longer. Now just take the tensioner spring and put it on the tensioner arm so it tightens up the belt, and you should be good to go. Now just take the belt itself and spin it around to make sure everything spins smoothly. Now let's jack up the mower and slide the deck back underneath and reattach everything. Once everything is reconnected, let's do a little test and make sure that belt turns good and it's spinning those blades. And now that you know everything is reconnected, we'll put the top cover back on the deck and put those bolts and those nuts back on. Now let's test it out and do some mowing. And that's it. It mows really good now. The belt is tight, the blades are sharp, and the pulleys spin smoothly. I hope this video helped you out. Hit that thumbs up button. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.